On an April weekday afternoon, we couldn't resist the 20-minute drive from Augusta to Cooper's Mills, Maine, where a longtime local landmark remains as popular, cluttered, and tough to categorize as ever.
How do you describe Elmer's Barn to somebody who's not familiar with it, never been?
3 floors of everything.
That's a definition.
Yes, right.
Pretty accurate, too, including the 3 floors, each one opening up to an entirely different view of, well, everything.
Have you ever inventoried how much stuff you have?
No, never.
No idea?
No, millions. Nuts and bolts and tools and, everything.
Just looking for a 3-inch nail.
Ivana Westcott and her husband run the barn today. The building itself began life as the Howe Fur Company, a kind of smaller, local L.L. Bean type of place.
And so then your dad ended up working for this guy.
Yeah.
And then he ended up buying the building.
Yeah.
Then he filled the building with all the stuff he'd collected and kept collecting. His daughter later took over, tidied things up, because she claims she's much neater than her dad.
Yes, very much so.
Today, Elmer's Barn Full of Everything attracts pretty much everyone whose eye could be caught by pretty much anything.
They get sidetracked. They come in to look for something and then they don't even remember what they're looking for.
I can attest to that. If it's odd or antique or both, it's in here, including at the front counter.
This is like the Land Before Time.
Hello, Ms. Barn?
Rotary telephone.
Yes.
Still works.
Back in Augusta, it was first things first, literally.
First Amendment Museum in Augusta, Maine. The question is why, what, where?
The museum, the only one of its kind, was the idea and gift of sisters Jeannie Gannett and Terry Gannett Hopkins, granddaughters of pioneering Maine publisher Guy P. Gannett, who built this Augusta home in 1911. Previously a state office building, the museum opened in 2017.
The First Amendment is what makes democracy happen. Religion allows you to think freely. Freedom of speech allows you to communicate those ideas freely. Freedom of the press allows you to get those ideas out there to the world. Freedom of assembly gives other people the right to get together and talk about, argue, debate, protest about your ideas. And then freedom of petition allows us to tell the government our ideas.
Needless to say, those basic rights have been tested constantly for well more than 200 years, like Morse versus Frederick in 2007.
And you have the actual poster that led to that Alaska case, right?
It was a big deal, and it set a lot of the precedents for students' free speech rights to this day.
You ever get people who come in and they may be confusing the First Amendment with even other things, other amendments?
Oh, absolutely. We get tons of people who come up here and think it's the Second Amendment. They're disappointed that there's not guns on the wall. No, this is the First Amendment, different amendment.
A unique and small museum with a big message for everyone. Don't take everyday rights for granted. They matter in a democracy.
Our job is to inspire people to live and love their First Amendment freedoms, but also knowing a little more about what makes our country tick and the rule book of our society, the Constitution.
No better way to end a day or begin than on a bike, and no better way to further appreciate the cleanup of the Kennebec River than on this bike trail.
It's a beautiful trail, first of all, because it goes right along the river.
The Kennebec River Rail Trail originated in 1996 and has now grown to 6.5 miles between Augusta and Gardner, Maine. In the river's dirty old days, this trail would have been inconceivable. Now, few things here are a better example of how the river is being embraced anew.
Safe to say that the Kennebec River is the dominant feature of the trail?
Absolutely, yeah. It's so pretty to see it.
I was fortunate to be joined by 2 managers and friends of the rail trail who pointed out one of its most unique features, the rails.
This has a potentially active rail line in the same corridor, but there hasn't been any rail use. But we constructed it so if there was an active rail going through, that the trail would still be usable.
Recreational use of the trail, meanwhile, has continued to soar over the years, as do the occasional eagles overhead, thanks to the fish that are back in the river.
It's wonderful that so many people are using the trail. People who are looking to get some exercise, people walking their dogs, state employees that are on a lunch break or before or after work.
This is the state capitol, after all, and the Capitol complex itself sits just above and mere minutes from the trail.
To Phil, the State House here in Augusta, it's like, what, less than a quarter of a mile from the bike trail?
Yeah,
Do a lot of
pretty
people
close.
who work in the Capitol complex commute from it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
it's very heavily used, especially at lunchtime.
Does that ever interrupt sessions in the Senate or the House?
No, no.
Talk about a capital improvement, a river reclaimed, and a riverside rail trail helping to rejuvenate life around it.
Looks great, and the Kennebec River Rail Trail is one of the few in the country that runs so close to a state capitol building.
Yeah, and this summer, the trail will once again be the half marathon portion of the Augusta Ironman race.
All right, still ahead, pine trees from outer space.